Hey everyone. So it's day 16 of the Solstice Fast, and I decided today to go back to some juice because I decided to listen to my body. And there's a couple of times that I felt a little bit lightheaded. I found that I was getting pins and needles in my arm quite easily when just laying in certain positions, and I figured that I could benefit from a bit of vitamin C, as that's something that the body cannot produce. And lack of vitamin C can cause you to have bleeding gums, wobbly teeth, teeth falling out, and my teeth are not in the best condition as they are. Doing my best to try and keep them. I mean, I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to be losing them, but it'd be nice to keep them for a while, be able to use them as long as I can. And so today I noticed that it had been 7 days. I went 8.5 days on juice. Then I waited until after 2 p.m. today. It was actually closer to 4 p.m. today before I came off of the water. I had a 24-hour dry fast in between the juice and the water. So with the 24 hours dry fast and then 6 days of water fast, it makes it a 7 day water fast, really, which I'm quite happy with. It's longer than I've managed before. And I listened to my body, made sure that I didn't overdo it just because I've seen someone do it on YouTube. It doesn't matter what other people do. You can only do what's right for your body. And I'm doing what's right for mine. So I broke the fast with a hot lemon drink. I've actually had 4 hot lemon drinks now. It's just very simple. It's 3 slices of lemon, so like half a lemon in a cup with some boiling water. It's very simple. I had that for the vitamin C boost, plus it's not much different from drinking the water, and there's a good easing back into it. And then, because we were out shopping earlier, I'd managed to find some of this orange, the unpasteurized kind. And luck would have it, was rejuiced, cheaper than it usually is. So, juice is doubly good for me. It's been juiced twice. First time when they squeezed the oranges, and the second time when it got rejuiced. And I'm feeling a lot livelier. I'm feeling like things are going good. Still not going to be going back to food for another, is it 6 days now? 16. Sunday. 5 days after today. So it's going to be 5 days until I go back to eating solid food, of which I'm going to be very careful in what I break the fast with. Probably break the fast with some fruit. John Rose's advice was to break the fast with prunes, as that tends to go straight through your system and it takes out anything along the way, which I don't mind doing. Prunes don't taste that bad. I think he recommends doing prune water as well. You let the prunes sit overnight in water and then drink the water before eating the prunes. And the combination of the two flushes everything out of you that could still be remaining. Though I'm going to see how I feel on the day as to whether or not I think that that's necessary. The idea with juice fasting is to keep going until your waste is clean, when everything coming out of you is practically water. That's when you know that there's nothing else there that's going to be released. My side feels a lot better. I don't know if it's going to be fully healed by the end of this fast, but it definitely feels a lot better than it was. And I think that the vitamin C should help, plus the other nutrients that you pick up from unpasteurized fruit juice. Gonna see if I can find some fruit at the market tomorrow, juice it myself. It's a lot better when you juice it yourself. Might even grab some watermelons at some point. Watermelons are very much when you juice them, the amount of pulp that comes out is so minimal that you can pretty much just eat watermelons if you're juice fasting. I wouldn't say for all melons, but watermelons most definitely. The bare minimum amount of pulp is quite easy to digest. So that might be something I do the day before I start eating fruit. So on the last day of the fast, but I may have too much juice left over at that point and still have that to consume. But yeah, 7 days of water or 6 days in a dry day. Not the most fun fast. I honestly prefer doing the juice fasting because it's less of a fast, more of a feast. You can have as much juice as you want, and it's very tasty. I've got a taste for sweet things. Always have. Probably one of the things that done a lot of damage to my teeth. Used to get a lot of those cakes. Years ago, it was the cakes that would have cost 15p, little Swiss rolls, vanilla ones and chocolate ones. 15p a cake in at Tesco's and Asda's. I don't even know if they sell those anymore. Definitely wouldn't be 15p anymore. Probably £2 by now, knowing inflation. But that's the stuff that I used to have. Very low quality sweet things. For lunch, I would often get packets of biscuits or sometimes lemon half moon cakes. I used to love those. I'd eat tons of those. Which is why it was very strange for me to take on the healthy challenge that I've gone on for the past 3 years. It meant cutting out a lot of things. I used to eat a lot of chocolate bars, a lot of Mars bars. It's appropriate to mention on Mardi wearing the red in homage. Got a red themed, war themed neck noodle. I'm not quite sure what these are called. Yeah, I think that a lot of cakes and sweets and then alcohol, cigarettes, coffees, McDonald's, experimenting with other drugs. Not been too kind to my teeth over the years. So me losing my teeth is my own karma. Not exactly upset about it. It is what it is. Happy I've managed to find my way out of it now. I think I would have been in an early grave. Don't know if I would have made it out of the corona age. I think that might have been what topped me off. I was drinking very heavily then. It's very easy to do. I got to a point where I wasn't quite sure what to believe anymore. I was convinced that there was a big reveal coming and that we were all going to have to be there for the people who hadn't seen it and help guide them through the darkness towards the light. That it was going to be things revealed on a main stage, that all TV stations were going to be playing just one channel, which is the story from start to finish on repeat. And a lot of people were going to be traumatized, and it was going to be our job to help these people get through these times. And I was fully invested and ready to do it. But I was also heavily drinking because at the same time as I was invested, my entire world was crumbling around me. The people that were closest to me, the people I called my closest friends, losing patience with me, as everything I was saying was going against what the fact checkers and authority heads were saying. And it does make you look crazy. People don't understand it. So it was quite devastating about 4 years ago to find out that that wasn't going to happen. And I still held on to the hope, like, it's surely just around the corner now. Things are getting more and more bizarre in the world. Surely it's just to highlight to people how bad things can really be. Surely none of this would happen organically. It's all a show. But then watching over the past 4 years, the only thing I'm really fully convinced of is that it was definitely all a show. I'd like to say I've still got faith that good things are coming. In fact, the best is yet to come. And I'm more prepared now than I ever was to try and help people through dark times. So everything happened exactly the way it needed to. Then, of course, there is always the chance that we were all just played by the government, playing their Masonic theatre show, putting it out there for everybody to be at each other's throats, because it put the left brain against the right brain. It put the red against the blue. It put the two sides, both extremes, into a state of constant war. And that appears to be a recurring pattern across history. Everywhere you look, it's usually done over religion. And I think religion did come into it. I think that would be considered the right side. The left side is the science. Trust the science. So yeah, there was the religion split as well. Everything was about pitting off the extremes against each other. And it's interesting because people weren't noticing so many of the contradictions. Like the people who are saying trust the science also be the same people telling you about how many different genders there are. And I can only really see 3 possible genders, one of which is neutral. And that generally comes up in language. Unless there's a hermaphrodite out there that has DNA that would reflect both the XX and XY chromosomes. I don't mean to offend anyone with this information. That is just the science. If you trust the science, that's what the science is telling us. Science involves DNA testing, not certificates. That's a different type of doctorate. And I think it's also a strategy to pull people away from reality. Because it's very easy to pull people away from reality when you get many people saying the same thing. I'm gonna see if I can include a clip in this video from the news, just for those of you that need to see it. I've shown this to just about everybody I know in real life. I always bring it up because people get a little bit concerned on topics of conspiracy, and I don't want this to seem like a conspiracy theory when I say the news and the media is scripted. Now, this is not necessarily saying that they are good or bad, just that they all follow the same script. And once you see that, you start to realize how easy it is to get people to believe a certain thing just by repeating it over and over again. If you hear the same thing over and over, eventually it settles in and you start to doubt what you previously thought. You start to doubt anything that goes against what the majority is saying because you've now heard it from the majority of places that have discussed this subject. And it's very mystical in a way.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
The El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trying to get responsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish the same things are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Hypnotizing. It's very unnatural. But that is the way of the world these days, trying to pull us away from nature. They don't want us to do what's natural, because what they do is very unnatural. And by the they, I'm not talking about, they killed Kenny. I mean, they, the people that write the script. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about that at the moment. I think the video pretty much speaks for itself. We live in a scripted reality, whether you like it or not, whether it's real or a simulation. The media and what is portrayed to the public is a scripted reality. And I think that's an important step to be able to take in realizing what world we're living in, to be able to come back to reality and away from things that are designed to steer you astray. Other than that, I'm going to have to cut this video short, I'm afraid. I've got to be up early in the morning to get my lift back to London, as work at the place I used to work starts at 7 a.m. And the guy I know leaves at 5:30 a.m. It is currently 11:30 p.m. which doesn't give me much time to try and edit things into this video after downloading them onto the phone, making sure I've got enough memory space to do that, and letting the video save from its ucut format to a finished video and then upload it. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.